Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and today we are doing the ultimate comparison, the biggest smackdown of the New Year's. Today we've got 4 figures that are all 6-inch incarnations of the King of Monsters from the MonsterVerse in Spitfire form. Today we've got the Heat Ray Godzilla from HIYA Toys Exquisite Basic line, the MonsterArts Godzilla 2021 from Godzilla vs. Kong, the NECA Godzilla 2019 V2 from Godzilla King of the Monsters, and the Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong MonsterVerse Heat Ray Godzilla. All these figures, again, are all different versions of the debatably same incarnation, say with you because you're from a different movie, but we are going to be doing this as a 7-category round. Sculpt and Paint, articulation, size, accessories, price, availability, and packaging. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start with round 1, Sculpt and Paint. First, we're going to start off with the sculpt and paint on the heads and neck. So while all of them have a lot of things in common, for example, they're all dark charcoal grays or blacks as the design intended, and all of them feature blue eyes, which is really accurate to the movie, in case you haven't noticed. However, all of them do it differently. The HIYA Toys features the most defined detail of the bunch of the head, with the most defined teeth sculpted, and the most natural looking glow from the eyes, top of the head where it leads down to the dorsal fins, the tongue detailing, and the mouth paint. The MonsterArts features little to no blue paint on the head, aside from one strip of blue spray right at the top of the head where it goes down to the dorsal fins, and tiny beady blue glowing eyes that are reflective, but the entirety of the jaw is painted one coat of kind of like teal aquamarine metallic blue, and it honestly looks great. The thing is that it drowns out some of its more finer details thanks to the fact that it's all reflective and kind of leaves little to no coloring aside from just blue and black. The NECA Godzilla, on the other hand, actually features a lot more of the blue paint, not just exclusive to the fins, or where it leads into the fins, but also the mouth, where it actually features several different shades of blue, featuring that of like the MonsterArts, but also features darker blue on, say, the tongue, but also has the metallic eyes, and also has almost what looks like metallic eyeliner going down the ridges of the eyes, and also features paints on the gills. Granted, the HIYA also features a strip of blue paint on the neck, but has little to no painting on the gills, while the MonsterArts features dry brushing on the neck. The Playmates features blue eyes with standard colored mouth with the pink gums and the white teeth, and in terms of detailing, also features quite a decent amount of detail, but it's very mellow in comparison to its rivals, making it look the most like a kid's toy, despite the fact that it is a kid's toy. Next, we're going to take a look at the chest, and all of them do something different. The HIYA Toys features a lot of great blue paint applications on the chest, but again, as I mentioned before, it looks like a vest due to the poor transition between the shoulders and the chest area, and honestly, I feel like some blue paint over here would have been nice, and there is blue paint, like a very mild drip of it right where the tip of my finger is, but I feel like that's more of a problem of application of the chest bleeding over, sorry Playmates, bleeding over to the shoulder and giving it very little transition. The MonsterArts features more of that dry brushing, brown, kind of sandy look to it across the chest all the way to the crotch area, and it honestly looks really good. However, there's still not much on the shoulders, and that's ultimately where the NECA shines in comparison to the others, where it actually features a great transition to the shoulders, and the chest is painted in that metallic blue paint, coupled up with that light aquamarine blue in the cracks and crevices, even bleeding down to the shoulders, forearms, and hands. And going back to the shoulders and hands on these two, it's rather simplistic, but he actually has a lot more dry brushing and coloring than that of the MonsterArts, which all 4 of them feature painted claws, different colors, mind you. He has dark black. He has like a sandy, kind of like what the color of the chest is. He has more dry brushing on the hands than anything, and he features very simplistic painted claws that are painted brown. And as for the Playmates, as far as the chest goes, There is not much coloring here. In fact, there's little coloring. However, does feature some great dry brushing on the sides of the body. You'll see in just a sec. Next, we're going to take a look at the dorsal fins and the sides of both figures. And as far as movie accuracy goes, the HIYA definitely wins by a landslide with the dorsal fin paint, as it actually features the most movie accurate as far as the glowing from the base and getting kind of dimmer towards the top of the fins. While it is true that the NECA does attempt to do that, it kind of loses that out thanks to the fact it's so stylistic as far as the application itself goes, and the darker paint is more brighter than expected due to the fact that it's glossy. The MonsterArts features the most, what you'd say, evened out dorsal plates, as it is basically just the 2019 dorsals with a lot of painted dry brushing and painted on blue paint in between the cracks and crevices, and a glowy finish to give it, well, a glowing effect. The Playmates features completely translucent blue dorsal plates, which if I had to pick which ones were my favorite objectively speaking, I would actually go with the NECA because I like stylization, but the Playmates is right up there thanks to the fact that I'm a sucker for translucent paint, or translucent plastic, forgive me, and also features the most rubbery of fins. So, realistically, they all do something different with the fins. He's movie accurate, he's somewhere in between, he's the most stylized, and he is whatever this is. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the tail of all figures, and it is pretty close. The HIYA definitely has the most, what you'd say, evened out paint and dry brushing, and obviously has the most, again, movie accurate look, as the sides are very dry brushed, but the top is also very dry brushed in more that glowing blue pattern. The MonsterArts has the least amount of blue as far as like compared to the tail itself goes, but all the dorsal plates from the tip of the tail to the base of the tail are all individually painted. And the mild splotches of glowing patterns on the in between the dorsal plates are very well done. The NECA, the NECA Godzilla has the most chaotic scheme going, which I honestly think is my favorite of the bunch, because it features the light blue going up on the dorsal plates, and then the sides of the fins are glossy blue, the same paint that the tips of the bigger fins are painted. And it ultimately gives off the most glowing look of the bunch, which if that's what you're after, the NECA is definitely right up your alley. While the Playmates features not translucent paint, but a blue spray going from the base of the tail where the translucent fins end to about the midsection of the tail, with the blue spray actually bleeding onto the sides of it, giving a much more glowing look. However, it loses thanks to the fact that from here to here is not painted, and the prototype pictures obviously showed a fully painted tail. And it's also permanently stuck in one pose. It's actually kind of off to one side. And lastly, we're going to take a look at the legs on all figures. All of them feature, again, that standard charcoal kind of gray to black color scheme. But the HIYA and the NECA both feature dry brushing and various paint details across the body. And given NECA's chaotic color scheme, it actually, again, covers right to where the upper leg goes, and right from the shin down on all figures, at least including the NECA, is just pure black or gray, aside from the nails. The HIYA actually features some dry brushing and some shading on their nails, and the NECA features dark glossy sharpened nails compared to that of the V1. The SHMA features the most gritty nails, and honestly kind of looks the most realistic in that sense, while the Playmates does feature some mild dry brushing. It's very hard to see, but also features the most visible of painted nails, with the classic kind of painted on, no shading, brown paint, and honestly, it's also stuck in one pose, as this leg is permanently like that, and that leg's permanently like that, while the other two are in neutral position until we get to the articulation. So that concludes round one. Who gets the point? Well, it's a close one. It's a close one between these two. Why I excluded MonsterArts and Playmates? Well, let's just put it this way. Playmates was destined to lose from the start. I mean, look. It's fine for a kid's toy at this price point in this day and age, but compared to the competition, the amount of paint that this thing has is so low, and it does try its best, but unfortunately does not have what it takes. Granted, the translucent things are cool, but no. The MonsterArts doesn't get the point because it just lacks paint. Granted, there is paint there, and there is dry brushing there, but aside from the mouth and dorsal plates, the sides of the figure are completely blank. The tummy area is so mild, and even the head area, which is essentially supposed to be one of the most colorful versions of the area because he's, shooting the beam. That's where he's shooting it out. The eyes are so small in comparison to the others that it might as well just be closed off. And honestly, that's ultimately why it doesn't get the point for Sculpt and Paint. Granted, it has some fantastic detail, and debatably, I would give it the point for detail, but it's for the overall category, which ultimately means these two. And really, I know I'm going to get a bit of flack for this, but I actually got to go with the NECA on this one. Why? In my opinion, across both the NECA and HIYA, it has the best balance of paint and detail. It has just the right amount of detail and the perfect combination of paint inside the cracks and crevices, in addition to dry brushing and the chaotic color scheme to make it the most pop. Granted, he's more movie accurate than him as far as the paint scheme goes. I mean, both of them use the CG model, so there's no comparing the CG, the sculpt as far as movie accuracy goes, because that's objective. But this, in my opinion, has the better balance than he does. Granted, he has some great dry brushing and amazing movie accuracy, but overall, I find myself more appealed to him because of his more balanced, chaotic color scheme. So NECA wins the point in round one.